For my part, I felt more and more responsible for what was happening. In any case, it was essential that the work of selection be completed. It was already the end of August, and only 1 month remained before the awarding of the prize. Each time I finished reading a manuscript, I wondered what the consequences of my decision would be. So, before expressing my opinion, I consulted with the burgomaster and with Councillor Linz, whose situations were no better than mine. The problem was that nothing distinctive had yet emerged from all that rubbish. We passed the last manuscripts on to another, with the hope that one of us might find something good in it that had escaped the others. But the judgments unfortunately agreed. The needle on the scale remained fixed at 0. Only one candidate was left, though she could not be put forth. Marta Bauer, whose competing entry was a book of banal nonsense rhymes, illustrated with splendid drawings. But having to award a prize named after Goethe to a little book of children's nursery rhymes risked inciting a popular insurrection. Accordingly, we reconvened with the rest of the committee and came to the conclusion that, despite being contrary to the publisher's wishes, it would be better for everyone if the award were postponed to the following year. The hope was that, in the meantime, some real talent would emerge. To some members of the review committee, the decision made without the publisher's knowledge seemed like mutiny, but it was easy enough to convince them that the idea for the award had, alas, been mine, and that the 10,000 francs guaranteed by the Phantom Bank, of whose existence only the publisher could be sure, were for the moment a vague promise. Moreover, no one would have been pleased to have such a prestigious tribute go to a mentally retarded individual, no matter how talented she was. And so, in the end, we made our decision in spite of the devil, who did not take it very well. After a few days, the burgomaster came down with pneumonia that almost sent him to the other world, and a week later, Councillor Linz was the victim of an automobile crash, which left him with his pelvis and both legs fractured. The cause of the accident? A fox that crossed the road in front of him. I was spared, but for how much longer? Already, during those long hours devoted to the close scrutiny of the manuscripts, I would sometimes lose my concentration. While the words continued to flow, meaningless, before my eyes, my mind wandered elsewhere, on a parallel path where unspeakable images flared up. There were thoughts that I had tried in every way to bury, thoughts that should never cross the mind of a God-fearing man, let alone a priest. Yet they were always present and left me no way out. They were flashes of pure hatred. The devil's pernicious influence continued to be felt even from a distance. I had to put an end to all this. But what weapons did I have to confront him with? A sprinkle of holy water would have less effect than a gob of spit in the eye. It certainly would not reduce him to ashes. He was not a spirit that could be driven off with prayer or exorcism. He was a physical, juridical entity and had to be dealt with as such.